Hi, I'm Carrie and welcome to my channel. I am doing a VR to Lisa Pepez on my top 10 intuitive decks. This was kind of hard for me to narrow down because I really do read intuitively. That's why me and the Pip decks don't get along very well, because I prefer to have rich images on the cards so I can leap forward with messages from that with the base knowledge of what the card means. I have a mixture of tarot and oracle in here, so I'm going to go ahead and get started with number 10. So my number 10 choice is the Psychic Tarot Oracle deck, and I had to put this in because this deck is the one that propelled me back into tarot, which I mentioned, I think, in my first video. I don't know if it was mentioned in one of those videos, but these images are, and the keywords or key phrase on the cards are perfect for starting out if you're not sure about your tarot system yet. And it's enough to just read intuitively without even looking at the book and just going by the images and the keywords. And if it wasn't for this deck, I don't even know if I would have the same connection to tarot that I have now, because this really brought my love back for the cards. But that's another video. So this is my number 10 choice for intuitive decks. My number 9 choice is Postcards from the Liminal Space, and this one is currently out of print. But I think this is an oracle deck. There is plenty with the words and the image on the card that you can just go with whatever your gut tells you. There is a very small book that goes with it, where she tells you what she felt the meaning of the cards were when she created them. But really, you could just look at it and go from there. I ranked this as number 9 because as far as oracles go and intuition, this one might be a little bit more difficult than say another one. But yes, this is my number 9 for top 10 intuitive decks, and that's Postcards from the Liminal Space. Number 8 is the Housewives Tarot, and this is another one that is just the Rider-Waite system, but the images stray from the traditional Rider-Waite. But there is enough going on these images to know that what's being said in the cards, and the kitschy type images and the little bit of a playful nature to the deck. And I think this deck is very sassy, is perfect for trying to use your intuition to read this deck. I mean, here's the Six of Swords. Six of Swords is moving away from leaving. And there she is walking across all these issues with her little suitcase saying goodbye. I mean, it's pretty straightforward in what the images are trying to tell you. Temperance for balance. We have joy, justice, anger, and sorrow on the other one, you know, and finding the balance between all of that. It's just, I think it's an easy one to use your intuition with when you really take in what's happening on the image. So this is number 8 for me. The next deck I have is another oracle, When My Soul Whispered Oracle deck. I think this is another easy one to go ahead and use your intuition. However, The one thing I will say about this is I use my intuition. Well, I guess this is maybe because it's a newer deck for me, from the keyword. And I go from there first, and then I try to look at the images to see, you know, what's happening in here. Wisdom is, I guess, straightforward for an owl, but if you go by the keyword on this, then you can jump forward with anything that comes to mind. And in saying that, if you really wanted to practice with your intuition and didn't have a deck like this, you could really just make your own with some of the keywords on it from other decks that you like, and maybe put them on certain color cardstock, or if you're an artist, draw your own little image in and use that for your intuition. But yeah, I use this, like I said, because it's newer to my collection, and I go by the keywords right now. As I get more familiar with it, I will probably lean more into the images, the coloring of the images, and so forth. But for right now, I use this intuitively from the words. For number 6, I have a tarot, and this is the Tarot of Mystical Moments. And when I very first got this deck and I was looking at the cards, even though I loved them in all the walkthroughs I saw, I was trying to go forward with it too logically, and I felt that it wasn't speaking to me enough. But as soon as I stopped doing that and just let the cards speak to me with the image that was on there, this deck became a quick favorite. And I don't know why I approached it like that, why I felt the need to approach this deck differently than any of the other decks that I read intuitively. But yeah, I was just trying so hard to put these logical explanations to everything, and it was just getting me all bound up, I guess. And I'm like, that's enough. I'm just going to go with the flow. I know what the basic meanings of the cards are. I don't know why I'm making this so difficult. And I think that's something we sometimes do when we're trying to read intuitively, is we make it harder by overthinking it and not just letting that part of our brain flow whenever we're getting what we're getting. So that would be my key advice, is try not to overthink whatever you're doing, and you have to turn the logical side off a little bit and just let it flow, whether it makes sense to you or not. I journaled a lot in the beginning when I was reading intuitively, and saw where things were hit and miss, and could go back and look at what I felt that I interpreted wrong, or maybe why I interpreted a certain way. And it usually was because I was overthinking the card and not flowing through my gut to see what I felt the card meant. So that was a little bit of a sidebar to this this tag. But yes, this is my, I've lost track of what number I'm on. I think number 6. My number 5 deck is an Oracle, and it's Soul Tree's Ascension deck. I resisted getting any kind of tree deck, period. I like nature, but I thought, how am I going to connect to a set of trees? What is this going to tell me? But I kept seeing it, and I kept getting these nudges. I didn't pick it up out of FOMO or anything. I kept getting these nudges that I needed to bring this into my collection. And I finally ordered it, and I looked through it, and I thought it was beautiful. And when I first read with it, I again went with this one straight off of the keywords the very first time using it. And then I started looking at the images more, and looking at the keywords and looking at the images and how it related to whatever part of the reading I was doing. And I think for trees, these images have a lot to say if you really look at them. This is a deck that is mine, all mine. I don't read for anybody else with it. It is saved special just for me to use for my readings. And I think I'm going to do a video about the My All Mine decks. But yeah, this one I think is very easy to read intuitively. And like I said, you can get a lot from the image of trees. Not just the keywords, and it's just beautiful and gorgeous, and that's why I picked it for number 5. My number 4 choice is the Pulp Tarot by Todd Alcott, and I picked this up off of Etsy, and I absolutely love this deck, and I think it's very easy to read intuitively. He uses pulp art and finds the image that best fits the Rider-Waite system. And I think it's a beautiful job because it's very easy to tell that the 4 of Swords should be one of rest. The 3 of Cups is, togetherness with your friends in that. A 5 of Pentacles, where you're needing help or seeking help, but, not getting any. It's a very easy read. It is very easy from these images to read it completely intuitively. And it puts me in mind of my grandparents and my grandfather's office, matter of fact, because he hoarded papers and magazines and that kind of stuff in his office. And I can remember going there and seeing these kind of images flipping through magazines or whatever. And it made me think of that. But anyway, it is very easy to read intuitively. There's, I don't think you really have to try really hard to see what the cards are saying. So this is pick number 4. This is my 3rd pick for top 10 intuitive tarot decks, and this is the Lightseers Tarot. And this one, even though it follows the Rider-Waite system, the images are different than your Rider-Waite Smith clones, but there is plenty on the image. Not only the image itself, the colors on the image. There is so much that you could take in from the images to just read intuitively right out of the box without reading Chris Ann's explanations and going from there. I think this deck is beautiful. It's one of my favorites. And that is number 3. So I had basically a tie between the number 2 and number 1 spot for me as far as intuitive decks go. And I really feel that these 2 decks are tied for the top. And this one, I don't have the boxes put away, but this is the Everyday Witch Tarot. This is another one, beautiful, storybook-like. You could just look at it, know exactly what's going on here, no second guessing yourself. Whether you knew the meanings or not, I think you could just pick this up and try to read it, going by what's on the images. This is, I think, such a sweet deck. I didn't have any issue where I looked at an image and was like, I don't understand this. This is different than what I think this card should be. It just all flowed beautifully. And when they're all out, and if you're reading intuitively, you can just get a beautiful story from all of it, which is why I say that that deck is tied with my number 1 deck, and that's my Wheel of the Year Tarot. I just love this deck. I've said it, I don't know, 4 videos now, how much I love the Wheel of the Year Tarot. It's another one that when you put it down, it just, a story flows right from the pictures. You don't have to think about what the cards could possibly be telling you. And I know, what is this, Lo Scarabeo? Yes. And I know that, you know, that's a little bit maybe annoying that all the words and stuff are all over the deck, but I don't even look at that. I just look at what's going on in the pictures, and I tell my stories. This is my favorite deck to use for clients when I'm doing the year ahead for them, because it just tells a whole story for the year. And this is my absolute favorite intuitive deck. The one you don't even think about picking up the little white book for. And there's not much in the little white book anyway, but you really wouldn't even need it just going by what's on the cards. So that is my number 1, tied with my Everyday Witch. So I really like this tag. I thought it was fun to do. I had pulled out some other decks and I thought, you know, no, that really wouldn't be a good intuitive deck, I think, for a beginner. So I tried to keep that kind of mindset when I was picking them, is if I was a beginner, you know, which deck would I gravitate towards if I just wanted to read intuitively, which is why some of the other decks were either towards the middle or towards the end, like Mystical Moments and maybe the Housewives Tarot, which takes a little bit more of letting your intuition flow with those, compared to something like this that's very close to the Rider-Waite-Smith images, where it's easy to put the cards down and just read the story in front of you. So I'm looking forward to see what everyone else's picks are in their response to Lisa. And thanks, Lisa, for creating this tag. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, bye.